All right, hey everyone, welcome to Simple Budget, Great Results, where I help you understand and take control of your money. My name is Reed, and today I'm going to look at one of the budget spreadsheet templates that's available on Etsy, the monthly budget tracker from JeeraDigitalDesigns. Before we really get into the details around this budget tracker, I want to call out this Netflix expense for $57 in the sample data shown on the screenshot. $57 on Netflix? I get it. It's sample data, but I love finding anomalies like this. And let me tell you, if you are spending $57 a month on Netflix, you definitely need a budget tracker like this one. Now, before we take a deep dive into this monthly budget tracker, I want to recognize the incredible community of software developers that's distributing budget-related content over on Etsy. I first learned about this community on an episode of the Side Hustle Show with Nick Loper, and it's pretty incredible. Almost 26,000 search results for budget spreadsheet. Who knew? And if you wonder if these people qualify as software developers, let me assure you they do. These spreadsheets are very creative. Now, don't forget to check out my other reviews, including the Simple Monthly Budget from Hey Creatives. Now, this looks like another great way to get a handle on your spending. And at $4.24, it's quite the bargain. I have to admit, I was very curious about the tree growth mechanic that this tracker introduces, and it does add a really nice touch of whimsy. Now, I personally think that whimsy is a necessary ingredient in life, and I love it when product designers take that to heart. But does it help me budget? We'll find out. Now, the digital download has a very detailed set of instructions that walks you through how to use the package from install to completion. There's a video, but it really only covers a corner case where you don't have quite enough space and you need to add some more rows. I love that there are different install options based on your preferred date format. Now, the Google Sheets Make a Copy function didn't give me any feedback that it succeeded when I clicked it, and so I ended up clicking it a few times and accidentally made several copies. This is no big deal, but I did have to pause and wonder what was going on. The summary at the top of the sheet is your monthly financial dashboard. This is where you see all the information about your income and expenses, but the transaction log below the fold is how you operationalize this budget. Once you set up categories and budgets, all of your actual data comes from the transaction logs. It's pretty cool. Now, I always like to have a persona I'm working with when I'm coming up with sample numbers and reviewing some software. So for today's budget, I again turned to ChatGPT to generate this person. This time we're working with Brandon, an RN at a major local hospital. Now, Brandon is paid weekly and makes about $78,000 a year, depending on a number of factors. According to ADP, Brandon's take-home pay is $922.68 per week, which also accounts for him putting about $150 per paycheck into long-term savings via his employer's 401k. And of course, there will be no $57 Netflix bill. Here's a relatively well-populated summary, which of course includes a reasonable Netflix charge. The due dates are actual date fields, which I like, although they are slower from a data entry point of view. Now, both bills and debts include a handy checkbox where you can mark them as complete, so that this is as much a project tracker as it is a budget tracker. And here are those trees in various stages of growth. Now, this is very important. You do not need to do anything with these shaded cells. All of that data is populated automatically as part of the transaction log when you enter any type of expense or income. Now, as I said before, the transaction log is where the magic happens. You select your category and subcategory, and this populates all of the shaded cells above with the amounts. This includes for things like income and savings, in addition to transactional expenses like such as expenses and recurring bills. Now, the expense breakdown graph is actually pretty cool, and I like the idea of a daily budget, even though I haven't filled it in. Now, the eye candy throughout the sheet is fun, and it helps you see at a glance where you are. The cash flow summary is super interesting if you are curious about what percentage of your paycheck is going to major categories. And the daily expenses overview chart is interesting, but I'm not sure how I would operationalize it. Daily budget in my mind is all about optional spending. Groceries aren't optional, for example, but food delivery is. Everything, however, is actually included in this chart. Now, every product has opportunities for improvement, and so I thought I would call out a couple of things that stood out to me. First, the left to budget section is more about cash management than planning. This is really the first thing that stood out to me as I was building out the spreadsheet, and while it's not wrong, it also wasn't really helpful as I was getting started. And the left of budget approach actually feels quite weird when you set up a new month. Now, again, if you're working only with cash, i.e. you fund your May budget with income from April, this would be fine because you would have a sufficient starting balance to manage all of your expenses. And then if we get into these date fields again, the side effect of using date fields for the due dates is that when you copy the sheet over for a new month, you actually have to go through and update every field. Is this a bad thing? Honestly, if it gets you to be more conscious about your spending, it's probably a good thing. Now, selecting a date is a manual process for the transaction log. It will tell you if you're out of bounds for the month, but it will not pop up a calendar picker. I was also very curious how this would look on my mobile device. So I use an iPhone 13, and I definitely found the landscape mode to be more useful than the portrait mode. It struck me that the transaction log would probably be the most used feature on a mobile device, and although it isn't perfect, it is functional and you can certainly enter items on the go. Now, part of the reason that I bought this template was that it includes these fun tree mechanics. They're cute and they're a nice differentiator, but they don't add much to the budget process for me. I'd rather have conditional formatting on the cells in question than to try and correlate the trees and the tree shape with whatever that means for a particular value. So what's my verdict? Well, great eye candy and great cash-based budgeting tools for those of you who earn money one month and then spend it the next, which frankly should probably be all of us, even if it isn't my default approach right now. Overall, I definitely say it's worth the $4.24. Now, for my next video, I'm going to work with a different monthly budget spreadsheet altogether, this one by Simply Made Solutions, and I'm loving the different look and feel that it has. So hit subscribe button and you'll be the first one to see it. Thanks very much for watching.